Welcome, Jack Complex, open daily, herbal and traditional pharmacy. Alternative medicine products for all various ailments. Visit our vegetarian cafeteria, affordable meals made to order. Burgers, hot dogs, soups, sandwiches, etc. Location 25 Dajrak Street, Triumph East Coast Demerara, behind the Regional 4 RDC. Telephone 626-5877 or 220-4386. Remember, you are what you eat.
They making new laws every day, and those of the master they throw away. The things they go about and preach, it's not what they teach, and no one seems to care. The whole world lives in fear, just despair everywhere.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna kullu Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. In the name of the creator of our universe and the creator of us, we give praise and thanks to the creator as I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the greetings of peace. To my Christian brothers and sisters, peace be unto you. To my Hindu brothers and sisters, Namaste. To my Rastafarian brothers and sisters, Jah peace and Jah love. And to my Muslim brothers and sisters and all other denominations, I greet you with the greetings of peace in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, you see how many religions I have to use to greet you, because we're all involved with different religious denominations. So God is not really the problem. The creator is not the problem. We all agree that there is a creator. We all agree that we have to have a maker, that we were made and therefore everything that was made has a maker. So we have a maker. This maker we call God. This maker we call the creator. So we don't have a problem with that. The problem is with the religions, the different religions, because if we are saying that there is one God, then there should be just one religion. I can't understand how one God, and we agree on the fact that there's one God, but we have so many religions. Religions are denominations that have been constructed to control and to tell us what they think we don't know. Because all our religions are telling us about a God that they don't know. They're all different concepts of this particular God, this particular creator. And no one can really tell us where God is and how to find God. They can motivate us with different philosophies and different doctrines that they use in order to motivate us to become believers in a God. But this God, we still don't know, you know, and God is a very smart God, you know. God doesn't want anybody to know him, because I'm telling you, if people were on earth, if we as human beings were even able to know God, he wouldn't be alive today. We would get rid of him, you see. So God is very, very intelligent. He doesn't want us to know him. I think it's better for God to be the way he is. You see, before the colonial masters went to Africa, the God that we worshipped in Africa was not a Christian, was not a Hindu, was not a Muslim, was not an Anglican, was not a Catholic, you know. The God was a God that our foreparents and our generation saw as a powerful spirit that created this universe. They were not concerned about if this God is a Muslim or a Hindu or a Rastafarian. It was never that way. The religions that were brought by the colonial masters, those are the people who brought these different grades of belief systems for us to follow. And then we were divided up, separated as indentured workers and as slaves. And so when you were born as a child into an Anglican family, you automatically became an Anglican. You're born in a Catholic family, you automatically became a Catholic. You see, and that's the way it was, and that's the way it is up to now. So you find that there are young brothers and sisters who are seeing life in a different form, who are experiencing things that our foreparents and our parents never experienced, and who are having a problem making up their minds because they have already been programmed by their parents to believe in a certain belief system and a certain God and the stories and the denominations and all these different things that concern God. So the problem is not God, but the religion. For God did not create, as far as I understand in all the books that I have read, and I have not read all, but God has never created a religion. It is man who created a religion. It's man-made. And that has been confusing us for centuries upon centuries upon centuries. And somehow or the other, we have a problem discarding religion, not getting rid of it. Keep your religion, but using the power of our togetherness, our needs and wants, and our helping each other as a part of what should be our religion. You know, doing unto others as we would have done unto us, loving one another as we love ourselves, and so on. That should be our religion. But we have so many different ones that we become confused. At this point in time, brothers, I would like to recognize a happening that has disturbed me, and I don't know how many of you have looked into it, because we have reached the stage whereby we have been programmed to be on TikTok and on the internet and social media and Instagram and all these beautiful things, and there are certain things that are bypassing us. For example, on the 8th of August in India, there is a Dr. Manita, who was brutally murdered. A 32-year-old doctor. She worked throughout the night. She did her shift, and she was so tired that she went to lie down a little bit, and she was attacked by about 15 different men. They broke her pelvis, broke her knees, broke her elbows, gouged out her eyes, you know, inserted stuff into her vagina and into her anus. You know, you could imagine that on our planet, something like that would occur. One sees the relationship that men and what men think about women in that particular area of our planet. It is something that goes on and on and on in terms of the man-made society, the picture of how man is supposed to be, the rule that man is supposed to make, his political systems, his religious systems that he has fabricated, and his vaccination systems, the vaccines that he has been handing out, which has ended up and is still ending up taking the lives of a lot of people. Man designed society to suit himself, to suit his man-made desires, and it was not designed with the thought of woman being a part more than what he says to be done. And when we see something like this happen, you know, Dr. Monita Debnat is her name. And, you know, it has been a very sad happening as far as I am concerned. And we would like to extend our sympathies to her family, all the way over to India. But it was a very, very sad occasion to brutalize a nurse like that. There might be other reasons behind it, but I mean, 15 different men, you know, 15 men to do that to a sister that is only 32 years old. And the night that she worked, like I said, was 36 hours she worked before she slept. And so that brings me, brothers and sisters, to the sermon that I would like to put forward today in recognizing, and even because of this incident, it has even made me more invigorative to recognize our sister that is running in America to be the first female president of the United States of America. You see, it's men like that, and that's just what happened to the doctor. That is just a part of the man-made dominance that has pushed women over the years to fight for their equal rights, and even pushed some of them into the arms of LGBT organizations and so on, so that they feel safe from the brutality of man. He has failed in his quest to control woman. He has failed in his quest to control society. Politically he has failed, and religiously he has failed. And so, in recognizing Kamala Harris as being the first woman in America to be elected as the presidential candidate for the up-and-coming elections against this, also her opponent, who is the typical kind of man that society has organized itself to have itself being led by this brother Donald Trump. But you see, brothers and sisters, when we look and we see Kamala Harris, a woman of mixed ethnic groups, and we see the response of the American society for a woman who is of double ethnic identity that is not actually white. But do you see how far she has been able to reach and achieve? When I wrote this book, Woman and the Fear of Man, everything that I said in here is happening. You see, we are seeing Kamala as an up-and-coming individual who has achieved so much as a woman on this earth and in this life. And we have also looked around and heard about the different feminine organizations, the different women's liberation movements, the different movements that the women have for equality and equal rights and so on that's been going on. It's not a case anymore of equal rights. It's a case of power. That's what women want. So when we see the candidate, the female candidate for the up-and-coming presidential elections in the United States of America, then we understand that she is not just representing a party, the Democratic Party, she's representing women all over the world. You know, the amount of single parents, the amount of wars that man have made, the amount of women he has left with children to look after, the amount of sons of other women that he has sent to war, to die, to kill. That's what man has been doing. That is his way, that is his attitude. And a few women have been coming through. Tanzania, for example, has a woman president. Mexico just had a woman's president. The opposition leader in Venezuela is a woman. Bangladesh is a woman. We've had a lot of women continue to come. But the United States of America is a pivoting place in the world and has an influence over a great part of the world and has a great influence over us here in our country. She is half Indian and half African. She's a black woman. That's what we have here in this country. Predominantly black, Africans, and Indians who have been fighting against each other for the last 80 years over nonsense and ignorance. For we are comprised of a people of one culture. We are black people. And we still are not able to understand that the rule of the colonial master is divide and rule. We have in our country now Venezuelans, they stick together. We have Chinese, they stick together. We have Brazilians, Cubans, they stick together in the Spanish community. We have, before they came, they were the Indians, our brothers and sisters, who also stuck together. That's what has made them an economic power before the Chinese came in, right? That's what made them an economic power. They're sticking together. The only set of people that find it difficult to stick together are the people of African descent. And what they don't have, brothers and sisters, what the people of African descent don't have are representations. There's nobody to represent them. The Chinese has got the Chinese embassy. You know, the Indians have got the Indian arrival committees. The Amerindians have got the Amerindians of the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. But the people of African descent has got no kind of representation. And you know, as I look at the up-and-coming elections in the United States of America, and I know the influence that the United States of America has, then the outcome of those elections will also determine the political status of our country. That is why I look at it and I understand When I speak here about our religious leaders who are not taking a part to look after the interests of the people, of the less fortunate, of the poor and needy, and only finding it convenient to stand up in church on Sundays and tell us how Jesus died to save us, and stand up in the mosque and stand up in the ashram and tell us the nice stories of Ram and Sita and of the Prophet Muhammad and so on. There's nice stories, but there are crises here. Yeah, there are crises going on here that we are not able to deal with on our own because of the situation that continues to divide us, which is racial discrimination. We cannot afford, brothers and sisters, you know, because when I look at the political endeavors in the United States, I see, when I speak about religion and politics not being able to separate themselves, and pundits believe here that religion and politics must be separated. They cannot be separated. What do you hear in America? Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., all reverends coming out of churches, speaking up for the people, looking after the people's rights. Who are going to look after the rights of the people of African descent in this country? Where are their rights? Who's looking after them? Well, you know, brothers and sisters, land. Look at the amount of land that we have. We have so much land, and yet still we are selling land to poor people. Poor people have got to buy land and then got to borrow money in order to build on that land. You see, these are the kinds of things that we are facing. Now, going back again to Kamala, her achievements are great. But like I said, her achievements are not only to look after the people of America. Her achievements as a woman, she's an achievement as a woman first and foremost. She's a woman. That's her first achievement. Her second achievement is her political desires to help people and to look after the country and so on, but her first is woman. And that's what's all over the world. That's why I wrote the book, Woman and the Fear of Man. And it's more and more and more we are seeing it, you know. And you hear women saying, I don't need any help, I'm independent, I can look after my children myself. These are the kinds of things that we hear. The trafficking in persons all over the world. Young girls that are being taken from their homes, kidnapped, and are being trafficked all over the world as prostitutes. All these things man has been doing. It's man's doing. And we must understand that at some point in time, there is a higher force and a higher power. There is nothing that Donald Trump can do to beat her. No way. Because Trump, for example, hear what? O son of Adam, make your heart agree with your tongue, and your tongue agree with your deeds, and purify your deeds. Make your heart agree with your tongue. And that was his mistake. His heart doesn't agree with his tongue, and his tongue doesn't agree with his deeds. Indeed, the heart of a hypocrite does not agree with his tongue, and his tongue does not agree with his deeds. That's the man. And that is why he'll never be able to beat Kamala. I'm not saying that everything Kamala stands for is right, but at least if we here in this country are to have a progressive political and religious atmosphere for our children to live by and our up-and-coming generation, then it's no question that we have to look at Kamala as the source that we should be supporting in order to understand ourselves better. She's African, She's Indian. She represents also the Indians, the Apaches and the Comanches from America. You see? She's also representing that. You know? And when you listen to the name Carla, you could also think of the word karma. Somehow or the other, they have a sound. Karma is what happens to you when you have created certain deeds in this life. And karma, and you have to face the karma, the results of your deeds. Sometimes we face it years after. Like the white supremacists are facing it now because Trump represents the white supremacists. He represents the racism. And we are hoping that those of us from our country who are naturalized in that country will understand that they have to support Kamala if we need to get further. You see? Now on the other side, there is Venezuela. There is your boy Maduro trying to come in here, trying to take away 2/3 of our country from us, trying to force his way, and the people of his own country are not in keeping with his philosophy. But again, another man again that is fighting to keep power by any means necessary. Our women have been fighting for years to gain this momentum. And like I said, Kamala Harris, as the first woman elected president of the United States, when that so happens, and not only that, the first ethnic woman of black and Indian, African and Indian, that she's being seen as a black woman. Finish. We are very proud. And so there is no way we can back the hypocrite that does not agree with his tongue against her. So brothers and sisters, let us understand that we live in a country where, like I said, all the groups are together. Even the Spanish groups now that just came, they are together. You know, the Amerindian groups are together. And the colonial masters that are now coming back for the gold, the diamond, the oil, the sugar, the rice, the bauxite, they are coming back. And their only way to continue to exploit us is to make problems and divide the two ethnic groups that continue to fight against each other. Brothers and sisters, look at it, see it for yourself, and understand that as long as we continue in this trend of division, then we have nowhere to go, our children have nowhere to go. Somehow or the other, we have to be able to bring this nonsense and this ignorance to a stop. And that is why you find that Kamala and her running mate, Tim Walz, which is her vice president in running, that is why they are having so much success. It's time for this man-made nonsense to stop. It's time for these man-quarreling, mud-slinging, parliamentary names-calling, the corruption and the stealing going on. It's time for it to stop. And a place like America is fed up with it. And so Kamala is like a new breath of fresh air. I hear them speaking about when Kamala is elected, she's going to do so and she's going to do so. She's not going to do anything. She has been sorted out by the divine powers to be what she is and to do what she has to do, and she has to do it in accordance with the divine will. No other way. See, because God is stepping in, and God is stepping in here as well. Because if it continues the way it is here, then we are in dire need for our next generation, and especially the people of African descent.
Welcome, Jack Complex, open daily herbal and traditional pharmacy. Alternative medicine products for all various ailments. Visit our vegetarian cafeteria, affordable meals made to order. Burgers, hot dogs, soup, sandwiches, etc. Location 25 Dazrak Street, Triumph East Coast Demerara, behind the Regional 4 RDC. Telephone 626-5877 or 220-4386. Remember, you are what you eat.
Man create his own monster. Weapons of damnation and disaster. No sign at all of human rights. Today has turned into night. Is racialism so? And segregation so? Which way is left to go? I don't know. Hold on. Tell me, what about love thy neighbor? Tell me, what about he ain't heavy, he's my brother. Nobody cares a damn anymore. All they got on their mind is war.
Welcome, Jack Complex, open daily herbal and traditional pharmacy. Alternative medicine products for all various ailments. Visit our vegetarian cafeteria, affordable meals made to order. Burgers, hot dogs, soup, sandwiches, etc. Location 25 Dazrak Street, Triumph East Coast Demerara, behind the Regional 4 RDC. Telephone 626-5877 or 220-4386. Remember, you are what you eat.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters, we have to be very cognizant of what's going on around us. We have to understand that we cannot afford to continue to live like this. I'm not blaming anyone. You know, whichever government or party is in power, whatever they do, that's how they live. You can't change them. There is no way you can change them. Those who call themselves party this and party that, you know. And it makes no sense in trying to change anyone, but it makes sense in dealing with what God has prescribed for you to do. Like I said, in America, we are hearing Reverend this, Reverend Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Imam this, Farrakhan. All these people are people of a religious nature, right? We have no time here to push religion. It's not getting us anywhere. If Jesus Christ died to save you, so be it. All is good with you. I thank him for that. See, if Muhammad is the last and final prophet and there shall be no other prophets, good for you. That's all right. Don't make me want to believe that. You don't make me want to believe what you believe. So it is better to just keep religion out of the social aspect and social welfare of our society. Because you can't be a racist and preach to God. You can't be a racist and call Jesus' name. You can't be a racist and wear black shoes. You can't don't like black people and wear black underwear. You don't like black people and drive in black cars. There is a contradiction. It has nothing to do with the color of the people. It has to do with the people themselves. And none of our African leaders have ever thought it necessary to have a Ministry of African Affairs, but they have a Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. But like I'm showing you, how the different ethnic groups that are now in the country, how they are together. And the African and the Indian group, they are not together. They're still fighting against one another. They're still being fought against one another. For what? What do we intend to achieve with that kind of relationship? What are we going to achieve? In the last 4 years, 65 people in Parliament, and they cannot agree on one thing. What is happening to us? In the United States of America, the Latinos, the Hispanics, the Chinese, the Africans, the whites, they have all decided that enough is enough. So they are electing. Imagine the white people, they are white people for Camilla. They are Republicans backing Camilla because they have had enough of the nonsense. Enough of the nonsense. And we have to also understand here that we have enough. We have had enough of the mudslinging. We have had enough of press conferences where people sit down there and talk about what this party has done. And that's old-time politics, man. Old-time politics. Take it and let it run up the road. Throw it up the road, man. We're not getting anywhere with that. And our colonial masters who are coming back here, they are going to use us against one another as they usually do. Treat our police and our soldiers better. Each policeman and each soldier should have a home. Give them a piece of land, build a home for them, and let them pay for it out of their salaries. If you find them being corrupt or anything, take back the home. Knock them off the job. You see? But there are many police, many soldiers, they have nowhere to live. So they have to take the bribes that they get in order to buy. I remember a policeman asking me if he could get some, if I could give him a raise to buy some blocks, concrete blocks. He got a piece of land, he got a piece of land, and he has to build his house, and he needs some block, you know. So why are you putting our defenders in that kind of situation? There are policemen who have got 3, 4 children to look after. And the little extra money that they might make on the road, it's not corruption. It's just that they need it. Make it easy. Why are you selling agricultural land? Agricultural land doesn't need to be sold. Every farmer that is able to farm, give him a piece of land. Give his family a piece of land. If he can't afford to buy a house, build him a house and let him pay from his produce for that house every month. Our soldiers, young soldiers who want to get married, would like to move into a home with their wives and so on, they can't afford it. They still got to live by their mother-in-law or by their mothers. So they get involved in all kinds of, you know, criminal activities in order to buy a car or to build a house. Give the soldiers a house, build them a home. Say, look man, this is your home. You're going to owe us. The home costs so much and so much. This piece of land is for you. This home costs you so much. Keep paying on us. If you catch this soldier or this police being corrupt in any way, then he will lose his job. He will lose the house. He will lose the payments that he paid on the house. So, isn't it a way of cutting down on corruption? If I could get a house as a policeman or as a soldier, the police force builds me a place, or the military but builds me a place, and I am paying for it every month, and my family could live there. I don't want to become corrupt, because I don't want to lose that home. I want to keep that home. Soldiers and police shouldn't be buying land. They should be given land free. Where's a house lot, a small house lot? Free. Brothers and sisters, I know that our sisters, using Kamala as an example, that the women are thinking differently. And it would be something for our women in this country to consider. Let us have a Kamala in this country, or two Kamalas in this country. Things might go a little bit better. For the behavior, the philosophy, and the attitude of man to his fellow man is not working out. But our sisters continue to struggle. Our women continue to fight. And our exploiters continue to exploit with the concept and the philosophy of racism. It started, who started it? The same two people who fought together as African and Indian, the ethnic group that is in Kamala. They fought and they got independence for our country, and then they fought us out of independence. They're both to be blamed. I don't care you tell me about who start what first. And when I speak about that, I always hear, it's not we name start, it's we name start. We don't care who start, man. It's been going on for a lot of years now, and it's time for it to stop. We don't have any time. Our children, our grandchildren, and we ourselves, we are on the internet. We are on social media. We're seeing things. We are envisioning a lot of things that are happening in the world. We are seeing, and we know that to continue to behave like this, the way we are behaving, with mudslinging and cursing and blaming and throwing things at people, it's not working anymore. It's not working. You might think it's working, but it's not working. Right? And in the meantime, we as a Guyanese people, the inherent Guyanese people who have been born here, we are slipping, and those who are coming in. Look at the Chinese. 2 years ago, they did the road on the East Coast. Now nearly every bridge is sinking. Nearly every bridge is sinking. You know that, and there is no guarantee. So we have to get our men to go and do the repairs. After 2 years, nearly every bridge. That's the kind of thing that's happening to us. Throw us a little bit of whatever and take a big bit of whatever. While our people and our politicians and our religious leaders keep opening their feet so that they can take in as many clients as they can, while keep selling out what belongs to the people. It can't go like this anymore, brothers and sisters. We have to make a change. However this change is going to come about, it has to be done. And if the present political constituents are not prepared to sit and iron out their differences, because, you know, they always say, for example, when two people have a quarrel, there's never one that is wrong. When a husband and wife have a problem, there is none that is wrong. And that's why you see, for example, we have Kamala running for the presidency of one of the greatest countries in the world, the United States of America, because it's the same thing. You know, the the man-made laws and the man-made rules are so strong in these societies that women have had to fight and fight and fight. And now that Kamala is becoming, or hopefully, the president, the first female president of the United States of America, then obviously she is going to represent all the women that have been fighting. You know, and in my book, I said it. I said, you know, they don't use guns. You never see women using guns to fight men. They use other men to fight men. You see how many men they have got, they were able to use against Trump? There's so many against him, he can't stand up straight. But that's how they fight. And you hear what her slogan is? When we fight, we win. And that is true. The war that we see today is not between Ukraine and Russia alone. It's not between Israel and Gaza. It's not between India and Pakistan alone. It's also between man and woman. It might sound strange to you, brothers and sisters, but that is what is a part of the war. Because if man and woman were agreeing with each other, many things in this world, many things in this life would be easier for us. But there is a disagreement. That's why you have so many divorce cases. That's why you have so many separations. That's why we have so many murders and rape and these kind of things. Because man and woman are not friends. They are not agreeing with one another. Right now, when our sister wins the presidency, they don't need to agree with them, because that's the power that they have been looking for all the time. In any case, brothers and sisters, I have no other choice but to give her my support in terms of the earthly support. Like I said, it's not everything that she has been advocating, because her rhetoric is not different to what I hear from Bush or from Clinton or from Barack Obama. It's not very different. But the source from which it's coming is a different source. It's a female source, a male that is female, a woman. And if that is the only way for our world to change and for our children to have a better future, by having women take over the social and justice part of the society, then so be it. And it would be advisable, if that is the case, that we should start looking for one right here. May Almighty God guide you and bless you and keep you. And hopefully we can understand that if our politicians don't make their hearts agree with their tongue, and their tongue agree with their deeds, and understand that the heart of a hypocrite does not agree with his tongue, and his tongue does not agree with his deeds, we can't have those kinds of politicians. We cannot have those kinds of people. And we do have those kinds of people right now in our society, and that's the way it is the way it is. But a change must come in order for us to go forward and for us to understand that the truth is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Assalamu alaikum. And the truth is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Assalamu alaikum.
Brothers and sisters, practical experience is the greatest teacher. Memory is the greatest truth. And ingratitude, ungratefulness, is the greatest sin. Remember that.
Breaking down is a whole big runaround. A lot of talk is what goes on. Starvation taking toll. Weapons out of control. The atmosphere is cold. Oh, so cold. Oh Lord, tell me, what about love thy neighbor? Tell me, what about he ain't heavy? He's my brother. Nobody cares a damn anymore. All they got on their mind is war, war. Tell me, what about equal rights and justice? Tell me, what about peace and happiness? Hey. They making new laws every day, and those of the master they throw away.
Welcome, Jack Complex, open daily, herbal and traditional pharmacy. Alternative medicine products for all various ailments. Visit our vegetarian cafeteria, affordable meals made to order. Burgers, hot dogs, soup, sandwiches, etc. Location 25 Dajrak Street, Triumph East Coast Demerara, behind the Regional 4 RDC. Telephone 626-5877 or 220-4386. Remember, you are what you eat.